welcome to another certification introduction video from MCSI Cybersecurity Institute. In today's video, we're going to look at the MPT Certified Penetration Tester certification. So some of the topics we're going to cover is we're going to have a look at MCSI's online learning platform. We're going to have an overview of the MPT syllabus. We're going to have a look at 5 of the 100 practical exercises that are included in the curriculum. We're going to have a look at some career development milestones you can achieve and the certificates of completion that you'll earn from completing every exercise. But if you're not familiar with MCSI's online learning platform, what we do is we offer 1,000 practical exercises to train anyone at all levels, 10,000 hours of cybersecurity. And each exercise is 100% practical, and it's designed as an industry problem statement where you'll be required to solve the exercise the same way you would as part of a security team. And that's by, you've seen the diagram below, doing your own research, developing your own solution. And all of that allows us to teach skills that can immediately be applied in the field. Now, as part of the curriculum, what you will learn is you will be able to understand the vulnerability research and exploitation process in full. You will learn how to write custom penetration testing tools and use them when it's needed. You'll master the major penetration testing tools and know when to use them when it's appropriate. You'll learn how to perform code reviews and perform dynamic fuzzing. And you'll learn how to write penetration testing proposals and reports that delight customers. And let's have a look at some of the exercises now, because that's what we really want to see, is what you'll be completing. And this is the first exercise we'll look at, where we'll get students to write an application vulnerable to cross-site scripting. So you can see this is the layout. All of the exercises will follow. It'll have the exercise, a bit of a learning objective, some actions and specifications to complete, and some references down the bottom here. And you'll see this is a novice difficulty exercise. It's worth 1 point, and we estimate someone who's never done this exercise before, it would take about 1 to 6 hours to complete. And it's 100% practical. As you've noticed, there's no videos, no slides, no answers of any kind provided. So what you'll do is you'll have to do your own research on what a cross-site scripting vulnerability is. You have to write a web application which is vulnerable to it, and then you have to go and exploit that web application. So you can see the specifications here, what you'll need to do. So your application will have a user input field in the URL. You'll need to print the output of this input into the web page without any form of input sanitization. And then you'll need to write a cross-site scripting payload that can print a message box that says exploited. And you'll need to write a cross-site scripting payload that needs to read the user's cookies and send them to a remote website that records the values. And once you've done that, you'll submit the exercise to us. We've got a team of MCSI instructors who will review the exercise and will provide manual, personalized feedback for every exercise you complete. The next exercise we'll look at is identify and exploit vulnerabilities in FluxBB version 1.2.18. And you can see this is a vulnerability research and exploitation exercise at the advanced beginner level. And as you can see here, there's a download exercise materials. So for this exercise, we'll provide you the materials on what to download, and you'll go through and follow the specifications and tick them off as you go. And we do have some references, and the references will just help point you in the direction for where to find the right research to help solve the exercise. The next exercise we'll look at is where we're going to get you to write an application vulnerable to SQL injection. And as you can see, it's the same layout, the exercise, the learning objectives. We also have this grey box, which some of the exercises have, where if there are certain specifications which we do need to give you, like for example, the vulnerability, the programming languages you'll need to use for this, the database type you'll need to use, we'll give that in the specifications. And then here, and then you just follow the list, tick them off as you go. So for this exercise, you'll create a web application that connects to and uses a MySQL database. You'll create a user input vulnerable to SQL injection. You will exploit the vulnerability to execute arbitrary commands on the remote web server where you've deployed the application. And you will exploit the vulnerability to drop a web shell onto the remote server. The next exercise we'll look at is where it's a competent level exercise and you're going to write a burp suite extension. So we've got a bit of an overview of the exercises and the specifications we're looking for as part of this submission, and some references as well. The final exercise we'll look at today is the write a program that extracts all data from a MySQL database. So this is a competent penetration testing exercise where we estimate someone who's at that level but has never done this before. It would take about 1 to 3 days to complete the exercise, and that's just an 8-hour standard work day. It's not a full 24 hours. So to complete this exercise, we estimate it might take 8 to 24 hours. Now we've got the learning objective and some background here, and the actions and specifications to follow. Now let's have a look at some career development milestones. So I've completed 12% of this MPT certification, so I'd fit in here in the MCSI Novice Penetration Tester career development milestone. So this is something I can use on my LinkedIn, my resume, my CV to let potential employers know that I'm learning penetration testing. These are the skills I've learned so far, and it's a really great way just to show your enthusiasm and where you're at, and it can help land a position in the industry as a penetration tester. Next is once you get to 40%, you would be able to say you're a MCSI Associate Penetration Tester. So this just shows that you've done more of the exercises, you've learned more of the practical skills, and these are all skills that you have that you can immediately apply in the field. And the final one, once you hit 80%, you'll unlock a final assessment which you can complete, and then that will give you the final certification for the MPT, and you'll become a MCSI Certified Penetration Tester. Now, let's have a look at the certificates of completion that you'll get for completing every single exercise in the curriculum. And this is one that I achieved, where I solved the exercise to write an application vulnerable to cross-site scripting. And these are great to just share on your Twitter, your LinkedIn, so your industry peers, colleagues can see what kind of skills you're learning, the areas you're upskilling in, and they'll have an understanding of what you can do as a cybersecurity professional. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope we answered a lot of the questions you might have about the MPT Certified Penetration Tester certification. Our contact information is here on the screen, so reach out if you have any questions at all. We're always happy to help, but I look forward to seeing many of you enroll and many penetration testing exercises being submitted. Thank you.